Hello, NBA fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA The Week That Was. Today will be the 13th episode of the series, and I'll be analyzing the Clippers season and what went well for them this year, what could be worked on, and how I'll see them doing in Orlando in the resumption of the NBA. So without further ado, let's get right into the 13th episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA The Week That Was. This year, the Clippers had an offseason to remember by acquiring not one, but two top 10 players in the same offseason. They got Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP from 2019, and to pair along with him, Paul George, arguably one of the best two-way players in the NBA. The Clippers took a completely different direction last year. They were, in the 2018-2019 season, I thought they were going to build around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Montrezl Harrel. However, I think they just wanted to go all in, realize the opportunity they have by getting Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and just wanted to take the Clippers to new heights, be that number one team from LA that they've never been able to be when the Lakers were in town. This year, let's just say, I had higher expectations for the Clippers in the regular season. I thought they could have done better, but still, towards the end of the year before the suspension, things were going better for the Clippers because for the majority of the year, either Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they always had a player out and were never, at full strength until the last few weeks before the league got suspended. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George just makes for an insane offensive and defensive combo. I feel that both of them are, like I said, top 5 two-way players in the league. And along with the solid core that the Clippers have, which I'll go into later, the Clippers are a menacing team. So first let me talk about Kawhi. I've done a video on this guy. He's one of the, I would say, top 5 players in the NBA these days, given the fact his just offensive game is so, I just find it old school, the way he pulls up for the mid-range. I see him like a Jordan type of player in today's NBA. Paul George is he's not just a 3-and-D guy, obviously, but his biggest strength, I feel, on the basketball court is his three-point shooting ability, along with his athleticism, which makes him a big offensive threat. However, the Clippers aren't just all about Kawhi and Paul George. They have a solid core around them, very similar to the Mavericks, just more experienced and more veterans than the Mavericks have. First of all, they have the dog, Patrick Beverley. He can get in any NBA player's face and just annoy him to death. And not only is he a good, really good defender, he has a decent three-point shot, which works well with Kawhi and Paul George. Once they, slash in, they just kick it out of Pat Bev for the open three. They also have Montrezl Harrel, who is 6'7", very undersized for a power forward / center. However, he's one of the best rebounders in the league, despite being at 6'7". It's like a Rodman type of guy. He's just high energy, always know where the ball is going to be. He's always boxing out in the right positions, and is just a great rim roller for the Clippers. However, I feel the X factor for the Clippers is Lou Williams. He comes in off the bench. However, he always pours in 15 to 20 points on any given night. He just has a way of scoring, yet still being undersized at 6'1", 6'2". He can still, just slither past defenses. He just knows what to do. He just capitalizes on his abilities with his handles and just his shiftiness, which makes him a deadly mid-range shooter and just deadly three-point shooter in general. However, they also have solid bench players that I really like, such as Markieff Morris, who they acquired who they acquired from the Knicks at the trade deadline when the Knicks cut him. He's a great 3-and-D guy and, just gives you good minutes off the bench as a role player. They also have Ivica Zubac, who's a great rim-rolling center and gives the Clippers a good big man rotation in Zubac and Montrezl Harrel. They also acquired Reggie Jackson, who in his prime in Detroit could average 20 points and 6 assists a game. And bringing him off the bench provides instant scoring for a Clippers team that doesn't really need it, but it's always good to have, that extra value coming off the bench. The last player I want to mention is Landry Shamet, who is a young 3-and-D guy he's deadly from 3, and he's getting up there in defense. He's getting more experience. He was drafted by Philadelphia last year, but was traded to the Clippers for Tobias Harris, and he's done well in this Clippers role, being that three-point shooter that's just, that marksman that a lot of NBA teams have in the modern NBA. So overall, the Clippers have great players, but it's not just all about the players. The Clippers have a great coaching staff. They have Doc Rivers, arguably a top 10 coach of all time, given his accolades and just his coaching style and success. I find him a perfect guy in that Clippers culture, to not only develop the young guys that they have like Zubac and Shaman, but he knows how to deal with big stars like he did in Boston with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, which suits Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Overall, the Clippers have a great coaching staff, great players, and a great culture overall, and it gave them success this year. And honestly, the years that they have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers are, I would say the Lakers are a bit better, but the Clippers are right there. However, if I have to have one dig at the Clippers, it's their consistency that I have some issues with. As I said, it's not really their fault because Paul George had to sit out to start the year given he had his shoulder surgery in the offseason. Kawhi Leonard is notorious for load management, and he's always managing his body, just keeping in shape for the playoffs, as he did in Toronto, which everyone knows got them the championship. So they had new players come in. It's a very new roster for the Clippers. So building that chemistry will take time for the Clippers, I feel. However, if they've had, a lot of NBA teams in this quarantine period have had Zoom calls almost every day, just talking to each other, continuing building their relationships. And I feel that's beneficial for the Clippers. They got time to just focus on developing chemistry rather than focusing on the basketball, which is always, helpful because it isn't all just about basketball. Basketball requires teamwork, team integrity, just overall working together in order to be successful. And the Clippers could have used this time to do that. And that's what they struggled with this year, but that won't be an issue moving forward if they maintain the same roster. However, this year, this might cost them in Orlando, not being as close-knit as I would say the Lakers are because of just LeBron's leadership abilities and the fact that they all definitely played together. And that's why I feel so. Moving on to Orlando, I feel that it's going to be close, but I feel that the Lakers and Clippers are going to meet in the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers are going to beat the Clippers, given the fact that LeBron's going to be healthy. Even though Kawhi's going to be healthy, Paul George is going to be, they're all going to be at their peak. Anthony Davis, LeBron, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. LeBron just going to have that extra gear in him to take him all the way over the Clippers. However, I feel that moving forward, especially the next 2-3 years, the Clippers, as long as they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, will be top contenders from the Western Conference moving forward. And with that, we wrap up the 13th episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA, the week that was. If you enjoyed this video, as always, please leave a like down below, and if you're new on this channel, subscribe as well. If you have any feedback for me, please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of the NBA, the week that was. See ya.